The two of the three don't love defense, but there's something to it, right?
These are three amazing basketball players. I think, Colin, this is a really important point to point out, is that we can all be critical of Kyrie Irving, not just, people say like, hey, take all the time you want. Like, we don't actually mean take all the time you want, Kyrie. We want you to play basketball. But whatever he's working through, it just doesn't feel right. And he's hurting the rest of the league that is really forward thinking in terms of valuing mental health. That said, I think if you ask most people in the NBA, or you used to ask me, like, Kyrie Irving is probably the most talented point guard. He can do things others cannot. So it is just tantalizing talent. James Harden, tantalizing talent. Not just a great scorer, but in 2021, he gets layups, hits threes, and gets to the free throw line. That's how you're supposed to play basketball offensively, and he's a great passer. Kevin Durant, I believe, was the best player in the league before he got hurt, and he's picking up where he left off. So before we talk about all of the things they don't do and all the questions we have, like, the reason is because we think they're all awesome in terms of their talent as basketball players. The question is, does it actually mean they'll be a great basketball team? And that is going to be fascinating to watch with someone like Steve Nash, who's never done it before, being their head coach.
You know, Durant's an interesting guy that, listen, it's the burner accounts. Broussard said it yesterday. He's a follower more than a leader. By the way, so are most athletes. It's okay. There's very few quarterback personalities. But it's interesting. He left the Warriors because in the end he wanted a little more credit. And now if they win with Kyrie and Harden, he won't get all the credit. It's like he went to a less functional version of the Warriors, and that's what it's become, right?
Yes. There's two. I do think that the move out of Golden State, or the move first out of Oklahoma City, was because he sat there and said, I'm the best player in the league, and I just don't have the space. I just don't have the guys around me to show. And then, look, he beats LeBron in the finals 2 straight years and is the better player, and LeBron's guarding him. And he had the 2 dagger jump shots in LeBron's eye from the same spot in the same series, and, wow, they just have too many guys. Like, hey, look, LeBron with the Cavs, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, Hall of Fame players. Okay, glue guy at power forward, Tristan Thompson. Same thing, but no one ever points that out. All they say is LeBron's in the GOAT conversation, and Kevin Durant had to join the Warriors to win a championship. So he searches for this respect, right, for the admiration, not of his peers, but of people like you and me. And he goes to Brooklyn because I got to have another guy. He does. And, oh, yeah, by the way, one of the reasons that Kyrie and KD both like Brooklyn was the culture. Well, they destroyed that culture. Now, here's where I will give him credit. If he can make it work, if he can make it work with James Harden, who doesn't play defense, and Kyrie Irving, who, when he was in Boston, Colin, and they were playing the Bucks in the playoffs, their basic game plan defensively was everybody's going to switch except Kyrie. We do not want Kyrie guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo. And you know what Kyrie did? Kyrie said, I'm going to guard Giannis Antetokounmpo. And how did that turn out for him? Right? He is, to this point in his career, virtually uncoachable. And to this point in his Nets career, virtually uncoachable. Doesn't want to be coached. If Kevin Durant can make this work, I actually think it might show that he's a much better leader than we've ever given him credit, and a much better player historically than we give him credit, even though he has 2 other super talents around him.
Urban Meyer, listen, he cherry-picked a good gig. I mean, he's got a house there. He's beloved there. It's not a vicious media, so he'll be treated well. He gets Trevor Lawrence, $70 million in cap space. It's a weird division where there's no Mahomes. There's not even a Justin Herbert. Deshaun wants out of the division. It feels like it's going to work, right?
Yes. Again, this is percentage chances of working. Urban Meyer, I think you have to be smart enough to know what you don't know, right? That's what really smart people do. I think he does. I think he'll hire a very, very good staff. Because his offense, the college offense that he ran, I don't believe that'll work, although some hybrid of it, we've seen different versions of it working now in limited instances in the National Football League. What Urban is great at is, and I think you pointed this out in your show, is player evaluation, because they have a dearth of draft picks, okay, and they have to find a way to use those draft picks And he's recruited all of them. He's coached against all of them. He's viewed all of them as an analyst for Fox. I think that part is, but the other part is he's an amazing leader. As you know, and we know, inside the building of Big Noon Kickoff, he made it into the best show on TV. Okay, it is the best college football show on TV. And the reason is his leadership. He allowed Matt Leinart to be Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn to be, and then it all kind of fed into his analysis, and he would share information that he had. He's a great leader, and I think his ego is in check, because the difference between college and pro is when you're in college, it's all about the head coach. Everything's about the head coach, and your egos sometimes go out of control. When you get to the pros, it's still about you, but you've got to make everybody think it's all about the players. And Urban can do that. He has done that on television. He's done that. He's shown he can do that even in college. When he left Ohio State, he made it all about Ryan Day. I think he can do it. Now it comes down to whether or not Trevor Lawrence is as good as everybody tells us he is. You get the quarterback, and you have all those draft picks, and you have a quarterback on a rookie contract, plus you have the time. I mean, how long was Doug Marrone the coach? We get like, all right, Doug Marrone's going to get fired. Doug, if you can get time, quarterback under a rookie contract, and all those draft picks, it should work. Percentage chances of work are very, very high.
So I don't think it's nuts. We just elected, a 78-year-old president. Warren Buffett's 90. Krzyzewski's 75. Boeheim 76. Pete Carroll, just 5-year extension. I don't think it's nuts to call Nick Saban, right? Like, call him for Houston. That's not nuts, right?
It's not nuts. I don't think it's crazy to call and ask. But if I'm Nick Saban, why? What do you can go down as the single greatest college football coach of all time. And I guess it's because we're going to deem the Miami Dolphin thing a failure. I don't know what motivates him, right? I don't know what motivates him. I do know that the fascinating thing about Nick Saban is his willingness to evolve.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You go back 5-6 years ago. He said that Oregon's offense, by playing tempo, was unsafe, right? You can't play tempo, right? You can't play fast, shouldn't spread out. They used to be ground and pound. Did you see what they did the other night, right? He evolved. So I do think in the desire to evolve, it's there. The problem with Houston is they don't have the draft picks. They're in cap hell, and everybody loves Deshaun Watson, the guy, but like, look, he's not happy. A lot like what Joy said about James Harden. Everything that's been done has been done to make him look better. Like, you can say you don't like Jack Easterby, it feels like a cult. Probably, okay, but go and look at, if he hadn't had players around him, how the hell did he lead the league in passing yards? Right? I think Houston is not a good job is the problem. And it's not just because the Easterby problem or the Cesario problem, whatever. I think it's because of the cap hell and not the pick. That's what makes Jacksonville such a good job, is because you have time, you have picks, you have cap space.
Right, we got to run. Doug Gottlieb, good stuff. After our show, Fox Sports Radio.
Did you notice? I hear you getting on the hat on backwards train. You want to pick the Browns on this weekend.
You're going to see, listen, you hat on backwards, guys. You win one playoff game and you go crazy. Well, you're a 10
Everybody's a hat on backwards guy. I got to point out to you. Go and look on the internet. Everybody, even Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, who you don't like, Tom Brady, who you love, Russell Wilson, who's once again out of the playoffs and played terrible second half of the season.
We have
hat
to
on
go.
backwards guy. Get on the train. Get on the train, Cowherd.
No, I have my values and morals and my belief system. None of them hat on backwards. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.